Right, year 6 today we're going to start creating the backing track for your TV advert. I'm going to use a program that's called Garageband. So on the iPads, as soon as you've put in the password, go onto the main screen and drag along until you find an icon that looks a bit like a guitar. So in the top left of the screen you can see that's the Garageband app there. And it should bring up the instrument screen which we're going to use. So I'm just going to pause this for 1 second and give you a chance to do that. Okay, hopefully you've got the screen in front of you now. We're going to start by creating a drum track. So we're going to use smart drums. If you glide along, you'll find one that looks very much like this. When you found it, click on it once and it will bring up the drum interface. Very easy to use. On the left you've got a choice of different drum types of drums. You've got drum machines, you've got studio kits, so find the one that will suit your advert the best. I'm going to go for a classic drum machine. So as soon as I've clicked that, you may have noticed that the instruments on the right of the screen have changed. So I've now got a selection of 10 instruments I can play around with. Now in the middle of the screen you've got this big square, and that's where you're going to drag your drums. So the higher it is on this grid, the louder it's going to be, and the lower the quieter. But if we look on the left to the right, you've got simple and complex. So if my bass drum's over here, it's going to be quite loud and complex. But if I was to put it down here, it would be simple and quiet. So bear that in mind when you put them on the screen. So I'm creating my A section. So I want to keep it fairly simple, not too much going on. So I'm going to have a maximum of 2 drums, and that will basically be the beginning of my piece. So to create the different sections, I go to the top right and I click on the plus button. And at the moment you can see my section A is 8 bars long. So that's a little bit too long. I want it to be 4. So make sure that your A section is only 4 bars long. When you've done that, all you need to do is go to the top and press the record button. You'll notice recording because you'll see a red arrow gliding from left to right across the screen. And when that turns green, that means it's done. So my A section is now recorded. So I'm now going to pause the video for a second and give you a chance to create your 4-bar A section. Right, hopefully you've had a chance to do that. Now we're going to move on to the B section. So the same way that we created the A section, we go to the top right and we click on that plus button again. Now to create another section underneath that, all we need to do is press the add button. And just make sure that your section B lasts for 8 bars. So click on the section B and you're ready to go. So my introduction only had a kick and a clap part, so I'm going to add a hi-hat to this and a snare drum, just to make it a bit more interesting texturally. And when I'm ready, I do the same thing. I press the record button. And then, as you can see, it's gliding across the screen, turning red. And as soon as that's got to the end, my B section will be created. So in total, your piece needs 4 different sections. So you should have an A section for 4 beats. You should have a B section for 8. A C for either 4 or 8, depending on you. And a D section as well, which should be for 8 beats. Okay, so now you've got the rest of, you've got the next 5 minutes to make sure that you've got a clear A, B, C, D section, and you're developing the drum pattern every time. Good luck.